everybody. Welcome back to How Come. Oh my God, you'll never believe where I am. I'm at Nanny's house. I'm in my bed on my Helix, and I was so cozy, and I'm so happy. And I'm also really excited for this episode because it's so good. It's all about photography, and there's 3 parts. We have our companion congratulations, which is amazing. We have a companion named Hunter. She came through pegging someone and I die. And then we're talking to 2 amazing photographers that we had to record with separately, but they both have really, really good insight. You might hear me ask some of the same questions, but there's no overlap in the answers. For our photographers, we have Dave Krugman, photographer, writer, and the founder of allships.co, a creative community. And then we have Jenni Walkowiak, a headshot, portrait, and live event photographer in Brooklyn. She's been working as a photographer in New York City for 8 years. Her work has been published by the New York Times, the New Yorker, Bustle, just to name a few. Both of them are New York City photographers. And when we were recording this, I was just like, yeah, New York City. But being back in New York City, I am just as enthused as they are about it. And I got inspired myself taking a lot of New York photos this week. So I'm going to do like a little photo dump to share what I learned from these 2 photographers and what I've been taking in this week. First we have our congrats with Hunter, and then we have Dave, and then we will have Jenny. Big shout out today to Helix Sleep. Take their 2-minute sleep quiz and they'll match you to a mattress that will give you the best sleep of your life. Find your perfect mattress and up to $200 off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows at helixsleep.com/howcome. Thanks to Dipsea for supporting How Come. Dipsea is an audio app full of short, sexy stories and guided sessions designed to turn you on and help you get in touch with yourself. Get a 30-day free trial when you go to dipseastories.com/howcome. I love these things. I also love you guys who have rated, reviewed, and subscribed. If you haven't done that, do it. How come? But yeah, rate, review, subscribe. We got 2 ratings this week that I'm just like obsessed with, so I'm going to read them both. This one says, I'm obsessed. Why aren't you listening already? The title alone should make you curious and the content should make you stay. I love this podcast. I learned so much that is out of my wheelhouse with every episode while always feeling like it's okay that it's out of my wheelhouse. This is the most sex positive and human positive, if that's not a thing, Remy makes it a thing, virtual environment possible. Every single one of my friends has been sent an episode on something that answers a question they were intimidated to ask. From religion to squirting, just listen. Your mind and body and community will thank you later. Oh my God. Thank you, CV, who submitted that. And then this rating I just really love. Run, don't walk. Great episode on the year in review. Remy and Ben are hilarious. And in another life, we would be best friends and go crabbing together. Aww. And that's from How Come Fan. We love you, How Come Fan. Ben is still in Portland because I'm not staying here. I'm going back there. I'm only here to get tested, get vaccinated so that I can meet my little nephew, Oliver, a little ball of pudge, Oliver, smalliver, cutie pie. And then move my remaining stuff out of Nan so that Oliver and his parents can finally move in. If you want more details about that, go to Patreon. I'll tell you all about the testing. But I'm being safe. I'm like literally just sitting in my apartment alone. Once I get my negative result back, I'm going to get vaccinated, meet Oliver, and I'm going to go to Gabby's outdoor book launch party. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Hype, it's out in stores now. I'm only here for a little bit, and then I'm headed back to the West Coast to do a little outdoor tour with Ashley Gavin. So check that out. Rate, review, and subscribe us if you nasty. Follow me on Instagram, Remy Casimir, and follow us on Instagram, How Come Podcast, if you want to stay in touch with live shows, all that stuff. And yeah, you're going to love this episode. I learned so much more. It's so much more than photography, but there are really, really great tips on how to take photos, how to be in photos, and how to think about photos. So strap in, babies, and strap on, because before photos, we are talking to Hunter. Let's get started.
How come? How come? How come I can't achieve? How come I can't achieve? I'm rolling up my sleeves. I'm rolling up my sleeves. Oh baby, I believe these guests can help. Cause I can't do it by myself. I wanna jizz.
Hi.
Hello. How's it going?
Hi. Good.
I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
This is crazy. You have one of, I mean, not that every congratulations doesn't pique my interest, but the second you messaged me, I was like, 1, congrats, 2, call me. You were like, I know that pegging is like a lifelong dream of yours. And I was like, yes.
That's so funny. That's the reason that I messaged you, is because I just happened to, I've like run out of How Come episodes. And there gets to be a certain point in the week where like I get dry on podcasts and like I need to take my dog for a walk. And so I like went back, I think, to season 1 or season 2 and was like, are there any episodes I hadn't listened to? And I listened to one and you were talking about that. And it was that day. So that's like how I got to message.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I know. It was funny.
That's iconic.
I know.
Oh my God. I need to hear everything.
Okay, so this happened only like a month or so ago, and I'm 25, and I've certainly came earlier than 25 in my lifetime, but this was the first time. Well, it was 3 times in one go, which is really rare for me.
3 times like in a row?
Like boom, 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 or like
Not like, I would say in a session, if that makes sense, you know?
Interesting. So you're usually just like one really hard feeling and done?
At best. Like usually I'm a hard to finish kind of gal. Like,
okay.
Yeah, usually it's hard for me with a partner, at least. Solo, I have no issue.
Solo, you have it down. Okay.
It's something about the pressure of just being, even if it's somebody that I know really intimately and trust and have for years, like there's just something about like somebody waiting on me to finish, I think, or something psychologically like that going on that makes it harder.
I feel that.
Yeah.
But in this case, you were with another person.
Yeah. So my current partner and I were like, we decided to bring a new toy into the mix. And I've kind of always wanted to, oh, this is so weird, to like try wearing a strap on.
Yes.
And I hadn't before. And I was like, let's do it. We got quite the fun one. There's a nice situation on the back end for me.
Nice.
With that.
Like it's made out of something comfortable?
It vibrates.
Oh. I love that I didn't think of that first. I was like, oh, wait, she came through pegging. So it must have been like because of like the hardness, like just like bumping. Like I thought it was just from like bumping, but I was like, but now I'm like, okay, I get it. Like vibration makes sense.
And honestly, that might have even worked. But it was like the magic. It was like the combo, the trifecta. But yeah, this thing was crazy. Bullet. It was like a friend.
Yeah.
A friend had recommended it, and like the tip of it also has its own vibration situation going on. It's like an intense situation, but quite the dynamic. I wish I knew the name of it actually for this, but
I really wish. I want to Google and look.
I know. It was some dumb like Adam and Eve, like 60% off sale vibe. And we were like, yeah, let's go.
What's the underwear part like?
The underwear, I was buck naked. I don't know. I wouldn't say it was the most comfortable actually. And I don't know. It's not the most comfortable situation. I think maybe need some new straps for it. But regardless, it was a good time for both of us. He was having a ball and I just kind of was like silently coming in the background. Like it was like like I didn't really make it known. I'm bad at doing that, but I figured it wasn't like my time to shine. So I was just having a thrill back there. And yeah, I was surprised. It was like a bing bang boom type of situation for me. So
that's amazing.
I love it.
Had he ever been pegged before?
No, never properly. But you know, some like I think we'd both like dabbled in like butt stuff,
fingers.
Yeah, some, you know, and even toys, but never like a full full gist, but yeah, he took it like a champ.
What was the conversation like from like fingers to?
Well, we're both like queer, and like I honestly think the conversation started with a meme.
Amazing.
Which is funny and very
Wait, that's how Robin and
Same.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so disgustingly modern, but yeah, I'm pretty sure there was some meme sent from one of us to the other, and I think he sent me something and I was like, don't joke, like I would.
Amazing.
And and he was like, I'm not joking, and then yeah, we were off to the races after that.
That's perfect.
Sick.
Yeah, it was nice.
Amazing.
Oh my God, I want to peg someone so badly, and by someone I mean Ben.
You should. Is he like anti?
No, he's not anti at all, actually. So I asked him after we had Rick, the companion, on recently, and he was like, yeah, I'm down. I just he has to have like a surgery down on his junk, so we're not doing anything yet, but soon. He's open. Fair
enough. It's fun. I'm not going to lie. I was like dreaming that up, I think, since I was like young, like before I even knew what I was envisioning, but definitely paid off. I think that was another reason. Like I think I don't normally like bring toys into like the bedroom with other people, which maybe is like my first flaw in terms of why I never come usually. So I think that helped, but I also think like, I don't know, maybe just the fact that I've kind of had that fantasy cooking for so long, like helped the process along.
A lot of people do, you know, like that, especially if you're somebody who's like accustomed to like getting fucked, like you're like, I would also like to fuck.
Yeah. Oh, and I do like, I think it's nice to just switch up. I think versatility is key.
Was that your first time ever pegging someone else?
Yeah.
Was it your first time wearing a harness?
It was. And the harness was shitty.
Yeah.
But
okay, cool.
Yeah.
I mean, not cool, but
the harness
that's what I hear
like,
about a lot of first harness experiences.
For sure. Like it made me realize why people like have really nice, like people get into their like
money.
Investments.
Their wares. Yeah. The one that came with it was kind of trash, but got the job done.
Do you need the vibration when you're alone?
No, honestly, not usually. And that's mostly just because I'm lazy and I'm cheap. Like I can't, I mean, they're great. I broke my vibrator because I like brought it into the shower to wash it. And
that's a different type of lazy, because like I'm lazy, so I use toys, you know. But you're like, I'm too lazy.
I just
to
don't.
go
the
get
whole
another
process
toy.
of like going to clean it and like where do you store it? I'm just lazy when I just, you know. That's one thing that this experience made me realize too. Is just like, why not? Like why not even for like when that's not our vibe and I just want to bring like an additional friend to the situation. Like I don't see why I don't just do that. Yeah.
I also think it's like if you're not inclined to use toys and like it works for you, like that's also cool too. Like I feel like we shouldn't be shaming people into like, oh, you should only masturbate or you should only have sex with toys. Yeah, like au naturel is very nice as well.
It is nice though to make like a thing of it, I feel like, and set a mood and be like, I'm going to take this out and make it like more of an intentional thing rather than just like, my hands.
Yeah.
That area. I mean, even without a toy, like it doesn't take me long at all, like when I'm by myself, but
yeah.
See, when Remy said that you came with a strap on, I was thinking, I remember when I was in high school, me and my friends were joking around and we were on like AliExpress or Wish or something. And they had like a strap on that had like on the harness, it had two like dildos that one could like you could remove and one could go inside the person wearing the strap on.
Wait, like they are receiving while they're giving?
Yeah,
so
they're receiving and then they're
dicks.
like, yeah. But I think one of them was like removable. But I was like, that's what I was thinking. I was like, fuck, that's sick. Because I was like 14-year-old me looking at this. I was like, I wonder if anyone ever does that.
That sounds like hardcore. I don't even know.
A double-sided thing is like, it's cool, but it's definitely like a different thing. Like it's a different motion. It's not like the giver and receiver. It's like two people like being like,
Right. Well, and it's just like you're stuck. Like the whole thing is like, because I feel like you wouldn't get the thrust in and out. You'd just be stuck.
I feel like it's like a finger trap.
So this is the one that I saw.
Oh, wait, 2 for the giver.
Yeah.
That's so much.
Can you
Oh my
imagine?
God.
Well, I guess you'd just be like plugged
can't.
up.
You'd be fully plugged in every.
But I think one of them is they look like removable. They look like you can just be like, I want to undo this guy. So you can take the one off.
Fun.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, at this point, I'm like, why not give it a go? But with, I don't know. I feel pretty satisfied with the current. Exactly. Who knows?
Yeah, no, I think getting off through pegging with a vulva is pretty fucking
it was ideal.
Sweet.
Because then it's also, because for me too, I think a lot of the pressure of like coming is like somebody's waiting. Like it has to be like, okay, now it's time to work on her for me. And like that, like just the pressure of that alone.
Yeah.
I think just inhibits it. So something about just like giving and making sure that like somebody else is also enjoying themselves and like getting off in their own right, like helps me get off, I think.
Yeah, like you were probably taking care of him so you could like get out of your head too.
Yeah, I think that helps for sure.
That's cute.
Yeah.
I love cute cum stories.
Yeah, I know. I guess it is kind of cute. It sounds
Very
like
cute.
It is.
Yeah, it was cute. Everybody got taken care of.
Exactly.
That's the best way. That's how they have to teach it, you know? Is like everybody, like Molly Brenner said, everybody comes to the restaurant and everybody eats, you know? You get satisfied.
Exactly. I know. It was funny though, because we finished and I was like, I just came 3 times. And he was like, what? I didn't even know that you came at all. Like, what do you mean?
And do you think you'd do it again with like if it was like a different partner, or would you only do it with this partner?
No, I would do it again. Period.
You just do it. You're just like, fuck anyone who's ready.
I mean, maybe not anybody, but I would definitely do it again. I would recommend. I feel like to anybody who's like maybe considered it or like been scared of the fact that they've considered it, it's like truly it wasn't as like aggressive or scary or weird than maybe you would think it was, and I would definitely recommend it.
Where in the world did this happen? Just for our records.
This happened on the East Coast in Massachusetts.
Harvard Yard.
Yeah, I packed my cat in his Harvard Yard.
Okay. Well, I think this was awesome. Thank you so much for being here. We are so appreciative. I just have to ask you one question. Did you finish?
I finished 3 times, many times with our audio technical difficulties.
Yeah, legit. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you guys so much.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Wasn't she great? I know you guys are probably like, you should have asked so many more things. You don't understand the technical difficulties that went on during this recording. Like, sign up for patreon.com/howcome for just watching what we had to deal with. But basically, there's no internet or TV at Nan's because nobody lives here. So I've just been using my hotspot for most things, and I was using it for the interview, and like, yeah, it was not good. And I had basically already used up my entire hotspot the night before, because I binged watched the entire first season, apparently the only season of I May Destroy You on HBO Max. And you guys, it is so fucking good. Like, remember how I did an entire episode on Promising Young Woman? I think Promising Young Woman might have been like inspired by this show, or it's very similar. It's really similar topics. It's assault. But yeah, I'm going to have to do an episode or something. I don't know, maybe a Patreon episode on I May Destroy You, because I highly recommend watching it. I literally didn't give any fucks that I would have no data afterwards. And this interview suffered, so we are going to have Hunter back and ask her more questions when I am in a place with internet again. But yeah, I truly have had the best time binge watching a show all by myself in my Helix, just sprawling out, feeling good. This is the first time I've been like alone in like a year. Like the entire year, I have not had one moment of like true alone time. And so this has been just an amazing time for me to like reconnect with myself, reconnect with my sleep, and reconnect with my Helix sleep mattress, which I missed so much. I miss it like almost as much as I miss Nan, which is insane. Like, first I went into Nan's room and I was like, hi Nan, miss you. And then I like flomped on my Helix and I was like, miss you. I love my Helix sleep mattress, and I feel like the best thing that you can do for yourself is get a great night's sleep. We spend so much of our lives sleeping, and if your sleep isn't good, then it's really not worth it. I know if some of you are sleeping on horrible mattresses that just are not made for you, and Helix mattresses are. You could be on a saggy old mattress right now, but you deserve better than that. So give yourself an upgrade because there's nobody on the planet like you. So why would you want a generic mattress built for everybody else? Just go to helixsleep.com/howcome and they'll match you to a customized mattress that will give you the best sleep of your life. So as you know from this podcast, everybody is unique. All different shapes, sizes, cozinesses, and all that fun stuff. And Helix knows that. So they have several different mattresses to choose from. They have soft, medium, and firm mattresses. Different models, great for cooling you down if you sleep hot, and even a Helix Plus mattress for plus size folks. I took the Helix quiz and I was matched with the Helix Sleep Midnight, my best friend, because I wanted something that was going to alleviate my back pain. I thought that I needed a really squishy mattress because I was like, oh, hard stuff must be what's hurting me. No. I put in the fact that I sleep on my side and that my back was hurting and what I like, and it just spat out this little mattress for me. And it was like, we know you hate deciding. Let's decide for you. I also just like have such nostalgia being back here and like unboxing my Helix with Charlotte. And it like they come in one box and it's just like very cool to watch it just like roll out and rise up. I never thought a mattress could do that. So yeah, if you're looking for a mattress, take the quiz. Order the mattress that you're matched to, and the mattress comes right to your door, shipped for free. You don't ever need to go to a mattress store ever again. And like, why would you? Also, they have a 10-year warranty, and you get to try it out for 100 nights risk-free. If you are like, oh, but I want to go to the store and try it out at home. If you don't like it, they'll even pick it up for you, but you'll love it. I love mine. I'm like, I feel like I'm having a second honeymoon. But if you need a new mattress, Helix is offering up to $200 off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners at helixsleep.com/howcome. Helix Sleep pillows. Can you imagine? They're so cozy. They're so amazing. We are so obsessed. And now you can get them free with your mattress purchase. So there really hasn't ever been a better time to get yourself a Helix. Run, go, jump, and sleep on that bed. That is helixsleep.com/howcome for up to $200 off your mattress and 2 free pillows. Ooh, do you hear that outside New York energy? Helix makes me sleep so deep that I don't even hear those sounds outside. And I love it. Actually, the other thing that's been helping me sleep, besides using up all the data on my hotspot, I have been using my phone to go to sleep. Because obviously I binged I May Destroy You in one night, but I've been here for several already. And since it is my first time sleeping alone and like without a TV, like I don't have Frasier to go to sleep to, I don't have Ben to go to sleep with, I've really been relying on Dipsea to keep me company. Dipsea is amazing, especially if you like need to unwind after a long day of Zoom calls, or you're just looking for some company, or you're looking for some self-care. Maybe you're looking for a way to get out of a funk and start feeling like yourself again. You can reset and reconnect with yourself with Dipsea. Dipsea is an audio app full of short, sexy stories designed to turn you on. They also have wellness sessions to help you learn more about yourself, and bedtime stories and soundscapes to help you relax before you drift off. They release new stories every week, so there's always more to explore, no matter who you're into or what turns you on or like what you want to do. Because sometimes I'm there to get hot and bothered, and sometimes I'm there for company, and sometimes I'm there just to drift off. This week I've mostly been drifting off, but have I had some sexy threesomes in my head thanks to Dipsea? Yes, I have. It's a really great way to get in the mood, spark your imagination, connect with yourself, or even connect with your partner. Like if you're with another person and like the mood is dull, but you want to listen to a guided masturbation together, or like a sexy scene together just to like start things cooking. Dipsea is perfect for that. And for listeners of the show, Dipsea is offering a 30-day free trial when you go to dipseastories.com/howcome. That is 30 30-day free trial when you go to dipseastories.com/howcome. dipseastories.com/howcome. You're going to love it. You're also going to love these next two interviews with Dave and Jenni. And Dave Krugman is up first. Welcome, Dave Krugman.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so thrilled to talk to you.
Thank you so much for coming.
And I'm going to pin your video so that I don't have to look at myself.
Literally, I love that you said that because that's been a form of self-care that I've recently been doing, which is hide self-view.
Wait, how do you do that? Because I really want it completely gone. Even in the corner, it's
Yes. Okay, so go up to the top.
I got it.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Wow. What a game changer.
I know.
I love that this conversation started off with us turning off our self-view because both of us find it very settling. And being perceived in photography and not loving it so much is the reason why we brought you on today, because we recently had an episode about all the things that we hate about ourselves. And yes, they have to do with our bodies, but like photography kept coming up as like, oh, I hate seeing myself from this angle, or I hate having to pose, or I never know what to do with my hands or whatever. And like, yeah, I just wanted to have an expert on like yourself so we could talk about how to not feel so bad after taking a photo.
Well, I have a lot to say about that. And most of it actually doesn't come from my photography background, but comes from my psychology background at Boston University.
Oh!
Yeah, we both went to BU, and I studied psychology, which has helped me like tremendously through my career in social media and photography and everything really in life. Psychology is a really great foundation.
Yeah.
And one of the most fascinating things I learned in psychology, and I'm sure we'll get into a bunch of that stuff because I love talking about it and it applies to all the topics you love to talk about. One of them is that we have a preference to see our mirror image.
Yes.
Because actually the only way you ever see yourself is flipped.
Yes.
And everybody else sees you not flipped.
And that's why the inverted filter freaks you out on Zoom
or
whatever.
Well, when it's not inverted. It's like you are only used to seeing the reflected version of yourself, which is just like your left eye is your left eye. And when you take a picture, you're actually looking at how everybody else perceives you. And it's so foreign to you that you almost everybody feels uncomfortable seeing a picture of themselves. And everyone says, oh, I'm not photogenic, because they don't recognize the person they see in the photo. Yeah. And there's a cognitive dissonance. It's actually a real thing. They've done tons of studies on it. And it's like a very, very real thing. Like they'll show you a picture of you and the same picture flipped, and over and over, people pick the one that's flipped. So that's just something to keep in mind. When you see a picture of yourself, and either you could flip it and you'll be like, oh, I actually like it a little bit more. Or you can just accept the fact that that's what you look like. So.
Oh my God. Wait, and then it's probably why symmetrical people have like an easier time being photographed, because like they don't invert.
Exactly.
Okay, so first 5 minutes, my mind is blown.
What I'm here for. Is that a wrap? Are we good? I mean,
that's a wrap.
I feel like we did it. Yeah. Anyway, follow me on Instagram. And
No, so first trick, if you don't like that picture, flip it. Amazing.
Yeah, flip it.
And then like specific poses you can do.
You can turn around and then so your face isn't in the picture. That's actually a really effective way. It's just like if it's the back of your head, like it's just less of a big deal.
Yeah, but what if you don't like the back of your back?
It sounds like you have some deeper problems that we need to talk about.
I definitely do.
All kidding aside though, yeah. I mean, look, we live in a hyper visual age, and we're a little like, especially now with COVID, like everyone's on Zoom calls all the time, like looking at themselves in the corner of the frame. So you actually changed my life, because I didn't even know you could hide your own video on Zoom. So I'm going to Zoom all over the country now.
It's going to be so much easier. I think that's the best tip I've given since get a clitoral suction toy. Very proud of that tip.
Well, that's one I'll have to look into for myself.
But wait, so these are 8 easy ways for your face and body to look less awkward in photos that we found. I don't know where you found this, Robin, but the first one is don't smile for too long, which definitely, like, everybody knows that, like, your cheeks can start hurting, can start to look awkward.
Honestly, my depression takes care of that for me. So
yeah. Don't judge yourself if you don't smile in photos. I used to get made fun of for that, but like, go off, you resting bitch-faced queen.
Yeah.
If you want.
I mean, look at the Mona Lisa, the original
Everybody likes
resting
her.
bitch face.
If you are smiling, smile with your whole face, it says.
Okay.
Because some people do that, like deadpan eyes and then just like, and that's creepy. Find something to interact with. And it says one big thing why you don't look your best in photos is that you become hyper aware of yourself. Yes. And as a result, you pose your body in a stiff and awkward position. Fix this by having something to interact with, like a cup, phone, or bag to hold, sunglasses to put on, or a sleeve to adjust. Do you agree?
I mean, it depends what type of photo you're going for. Personally, if I was getting my photograph taken, I probably wouldn't want to be on my phone, but sunglasses are definitely something I rock a lot. Like if I'm doing an Instagram story or something, I'll throw the sunnies on.
Yeah.
I feel like I get
like
5 years younger immediately.
The idea of something, like not like something to hold necessarily, but something to like fidget with, because that's like something I always want to do. And like just giving yourself the license to like pull your sleeve in a photo, or like pull your underwear up or whatever. Like I feel
adjust
like
your collar, like
adjust your collar. Yeah, like I feel like there's so many poses that we do
in
like
the
reach mirror
into your
and stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That like you don't really give yourself license to do in photos because like it looks like too modelly or too posed or whatever. But like those can look
license
stage.
to pose.
Yeah,
License to pose. My favorite James Bond film.
To pose. Cross one arm. I like this as an asymmetrical bitch.
Okay, wait. I have a problem with this one.
You do? Okay.
Yeah. Are you kidding? Cross one arm? You need two arms in order for there to be a cross.
Oh, okay.
Or is it crossing your body?
Cross your body with an arm.
God, semantics, guys.
If you have nothing to interact with and you don't know what to do with your arm, cross one arm.
All these images in my head are very awkward. I don't know if I agree with this list.
Yeah, I don't know either.
You know, it's actually
this one says relax, which is tough.
I have a good tip.
Okay.
What you do is you turn away from the camera, you close your eyes, and then you get a countdown. Mm-hmm. And then when you go 3, 2, 1, and then you turn to the camera and open your eyes, and you get this really natural moment. Because people are so concentrated on trying not to blink, trying to like form like this artificial kind of smile. But if the first kind of reaction you give is actually going to be more authentic. So that's a trick I use for people who are nervous in front of the camera.
Okay. Has anybody ever like broken down for you during a shoot because they're so self-conscious?
I mean, I try to get people to break down. No, but some people are extremely uncomfortable when a lens is pointed their way.
Yeah.
And it's okay. I mean, I'm not the most comfortable person in front of a camera, but I've gotten used to it by having so many friends that are photographers.
Mm-hmm. I have cried in front of at least one photographer that I can remember. And it was like pretty traumatic because I told him about what I'm self-conscious about. And I was like, okay, so I hate being photographed. And he kind of like yelled at me and was like, stop being like so like judgmental of yourself or whatever, but like wasn't giving me any direction and was like, everybody hates something about themselves. Like I hate my toe. And I was like, okay, but you're not like being photographed right now. Your toe's not out. You're not in front of a bunch of other comedians. It was like a free comedy shoot. I should have never done it. But
I mean, first of all, pop that toe out.
Yeah.
Let's see the toe.
First of all, show us your toe.
Yeah. It's funny because you on Instagram one time, you put up a story that was like looking for new headshots or a photographer. And I hit you up and I was like, yo, you know me, I'll do it. And you were like, I'm problematic.
I am.
You're like, and we never ended up doing it. I think something else came up or like, maybe that was
I don't think I ever got them done. I was like, I don't want to like ruin another relationship with another photographer, like especially because I make them feel like they're bad at photography or something when really I'm invulnerable. Crazy.
I cannot be swayed from my path. So don't worry about offending me with your.
We can try and do a shoot someday, and
I'll never try to photograph your back. I promise.
Please don't. But yeah,
as long as you promise never to look at my toes, and that seems like a good deal.
If you whip them out, I will not look. Good deal. This has been a good.
Yeah, I'm glad we worked this all out.
Good pre-convo.
I think that the key to photography really in general, if you're working with subjects or taking portraits or anything like that, like you really like, you can't rush into it. You kind of have to like establish some sort of rapport, especially if you're working with new people. Like if I work with a model, I'm like, I'd rather just like meet up and like meet them first for like at least 20, 30 minutes and be like, okay, now we like know who each other are. And then it's a lot more comfortable.
Yeah.
Like when you're with a stranger, it's a much different experience. I just try to like make sure that, you know, portrait photography is very much about like a relationship between a subject and an artist, right? Like that's ultimately what you end up capturing is like a cross section of that relationship. And we're social creatures, so those relationships like really like, you know, we reflect them in our expressions and we reflect them in the way that we act like physically in front of people. So if you can be comfortable, then it's going to be a much better experience for
Totally.
You know, and it'll create better art, honestly.
Yeah.
So that's really important.
Yeah. And do you like shooting people more or landscapes more?
Man, you know, it always changes for me, and that's what's so exciting about art. And even right now, I'm like going through a new like creative phase. But just in terms of people, like all my work is in some way about people. Like if I'm in front of a beautiful landscape, like I'll take that picture. But in like, it's always better when there's some human element in it. Even if that's like human structures or like the way that we've changed the world physically, but really like, you know,
something that indicates we've been there.
Yeah. But like, that's the most abstract example, but like really just like, even like street photography is like, I literally go out and I call New York a random people generator. And I'm like, I'm just looking for interesting people. And I love it because it reminds me like that you can just move through life and with such variety, and like, there's always a plethora of interesting people and experiences. And like, just by looking, you can learn. Like if you're somebody that is the people watcher, or like you like to just look at the world around you and see how people interact with their environment, like street photography is one of the best ways that you can move through the world with that intention. It's like fun. It makes every day a game. It's so fun.
Yeah, it also like takes the pressure off of like yourself, because I feel like a lot of people, when they think like, oh, I want to take a pretty photo, I want to post something today, like they always think of like themselves as like the number one subject.
Yeah, well, I mean,
like,
now, yeah.
But like just being able to like find beauty in the world or whatever and make that your subject matter for the day is like really cool.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to the beginning of this conversation where we're like hiding our own self-view. It's like, I'm somebody that much prefers to engage with other people than to like have the lens pointed at me. And like, I think that's kind of indicative of just like the way I view the world. I don't know, I always compare the way I think about photography with like watching a campfire burn, where it's like this beautiful, chaotic, like randomness, and you never really know like exactly how it'll evolve, but like, you know it will evolve, and there's this beautiful energy like boiling around it. Like that's what New York City is to me. So I can't wait. I honestly can't wait for us to get past this pandemic, because I want New York back really bad.
Oh my God, I have to go on airplane mode.
Are you too popular?
I'm getting tea.
Tea?
Hot goss. Sizzling.
Oh, tea.
Tea.
I was like, I thought you ordered tea from Seamless. I was like, that's weird. You could just boil water. But.
So how did you get into photography, if not liking to be on camera?
It's funny. I always dodged the camera, and because my dad was always taking pictures. And I guess that was kind of my first exposure to it. Definitely didn't mean to make a pun there, but I'll take it.
Yes.
But as things developed,
it started to get dark in the room.
Oh, can you guys put an air horn right after the last one?
Sure.
Thank you.
Bow, bow, bow.
There you go. I was always very like visual and interested in visual art, but I sucked at like drawing and painting. I went to summer camp when I was like 10 or something. I signed up for a woodworking class, and they're like, their woodworking class is full, kid. Like, get the fuck out of here. I was like, okay, damn. And I was like walking like dejected down the little path through the woods, and somebody was like, I'm going to the photography class. Come with me. I was like, oh, great. And I went into the dark room, and it was like all this like red lighting, and like I just remember this moment of putting putting a piece of paper into the developer, and like this image just kind of started to like be revealed. I don't know if you've ever been in a dark room, but it's like it was the closest thing to magic I'd ever seen. It was like this chemical, it was like alchemy. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this. And I still, to this day, remember that feeling of being like, that's dope. Like, I really want to get deeper into this thing.
Yeah.
So it kind of like, that's when it got on my radar. And then, you know, through the complications of like adolescence and high school, I didn't do too much. I did take some more classes in high school. And then when I went to college, I was like, well, I don't want to do any of this. Like, I would much rather be an artist, but I also really didn't want to go to art school because I was like, I don't see the point of that either. So I just started doing photography. And like what I was so excited about as I kind of got older was that photography became more and more important. It went from me being kind of like annoying my friends by being like, oh, let me take your picture. Or, oh, like I'm always taking pictures at the parties and like blah, blah, blah. And everyone's like, oh, like whatever. It went from me being an annoying like photographer, like setting off the flash and like bothering people to like being like, hey, can you come with your camera? Like because once social media came around, it was like so important to like showcase like your social life.
Yeah.
And now it's obviously like we're 10 years beyond that. And it's like even more and more important every day. And I'm just, I kind of got into it at a cool time because it became, you know, visual literacy is now like at an all-time high. You know, every single person with a phone has a camera now.
That's what I was going to say. Like if you are like a person that wants to get in photography, like, would you say like just start doing it with your phone, or is there any gear that you would buy? Okay.
No. So I actually, 7 years ago, I started a separate Instagram account called Secret Street, which you can find through my main account. But the whole point was that I kept getting all these DMs from like younger photographers being like, hey, you know, like I just got $1,000 for Christmas. Like, what should I buy? Like, I want to spend all this money on the photography equipment. And I'm like, literally the device that you're texting me on or DMing me on
is better than most of the cameras.
First of all, it's better than most of the cameras. And second of all, like photography is the art of observation.
Yeah.
I practice photography all day, every day, even when I don't have my camera. I'm looking at light, I'm looking at color, I'm looking at atmosphere, I'm looking at the way people, you know, interact with each other, I'm looking at the way people interact with the environment. It's about seeing. And an iPhone is a perfectly capable tool of capturing those observations to begin.
Yeah.
Obviously it has its limitations, but you do not need a good camera until you really understand even your own personal vision of the world and how you're going to like, you know, how you're going to approach the art of observation. And you can't get that without practice. So you might as well start practicing. So Secret Street is like 7 years literally of iPhone only photography with like no paid apps. It's just like an example.
Cool.
So when people DM me and they're like, oh, what should I buy? I'm like, I just send them the account with no explanation. I'm like, do you like these photos? And they're like, yeah, these are amazing. And they follow it. I'm like, well, that's just with my phone. Like, and it started with an iPhone 4 and now it's up to iPhone 12. And it's like, it's just a good example of like, it's not about the equipment. If you want to get like real, if you want to shoot photos of like space and like, you know, you want to shoot like, you know, New York City at night, like super, super dark, like then you can have a powerful camera and that's going to help you. But beyond like anything else, like even the portrait mode on an iPhone now is so good.
Yeah.
Like the, you know, the way they fake the depth of field is so effective that it's like, you really don't need to go.
Ben does all of his drone photography like on an iPhone, like everything. A lot of shit is filmed on iPhones now. And like, if you're shooting in 4K, like it's so crisp.
There's a great analogy about this. That's like, you don't go to dinner and then like, you know, the chef comes out to the table and you're like, what oven are you guys using? Because damn, that was a good steak.
Right.
It's like, no, like it's the craftsman. So,
and it's like what you were saying, like the visual element and like seeing what is beautiful about the subject matter or whatever. Like you could have the same subject matter, i.e. Grace. Like I would take a picture of just all of Grace right now because I'd be like, Grace is the cute thing. But you might look at her and be like, oh, the way that like the light is hitting like the furry belly, like that's what I really want to show.
Yes,
you know?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And like, yeah, I think sometimes we get wrapped up in shooting like the whole thing.
Yeah.
And trying to like say a certain narrative instead of.
Well, there's another great quote that is, I think it might be Robert Capa. It's if your photo is not good enough, you're not close enough. So it's like thinking about like filling the frame. One mistake I see a lot with photography is like people just shooting at eye level. Like they just shoot what they see. And not understanding that you can like move your perspective around by like moving the camera, like get higher, get lower, like go through things. Like you can force the viewer into a new experience, and that's really compelling.
Yeah, sometimes we're restricted to the options that have already been given to us, and we think like, oh, that's all I can do. Like for certain things, I'm not creative at all with photos, and that's why they're bad. Even with Grace, like I know I'm not a good photographer because I can't capture her beauty.
Well, cats are devious creatures when it comes to cameras. They move so quickly.
And they know when they're being filmed.
Yeah, and their eyes do this weird thing with a flash where they turn green.
Sometimes I just think about like if somebody who was like good at social media and photography like had her, like she would be a star.
Look, I mean, there's hundreds of cats that are more famous than me. And I you know, it's something that I just have to live with.
Totally.
Dogs, there's literally inanimate objects that are doing better than me on Instagram. I wanted to say one thing too, just because we like touched on social media a few times. I feel like this is relevant to the issues around like self-awareness and like hyper self-awareness. And also just like mental health around social media, which I think is really important. There's this other quote that I will also misattribute, but it's comparison is the thief of joy. And like,
oh yes.
Again, like we're not psychologically evolved to be able to withstand
comparing ourselves to so many different people,
to so many different people at once.
Lives. Yeah.
And it's everybody's highlight reel.
Yeah.
So let's take an extreme example. Let's say I'm only following 100 people. I'm following more than that. But every day I'm consuming the best parts of their lives, one after the other, hundreds of times. And I'm usually consuming them when I'm in my moments of idleness and like depression and sadness or just waking up or falling asleep. So I just warn people against like, and if you're being aware of that is enough to help you escape that trap. So that when you're watching these stuff, you have to realize that they're not showing the lows that come with the highs. Like they're not showing they're not showing the valleys caused by those peaks.
Totally.
And so it's just really important to people, if you're listening, like don't think that like there's literally no one on earth who's not having some sort of like mental struggle. It's a crazy thing to be alive.
Yeah, it's very tough. And sometimes I like resent the people who make it seem not tough because I'm just like, no, that's a lie.
Yeah,
like,
you're lying to like a million people at once.
And also if it's not tough for you, like how can you brag about that right now?
Yeah,
like it's so tough for other people. Do you think there are certain people who they might not be photogenic, but they're telegenic?
Define
like
telegenic.
Good on TV, like good in video, but not in freeze frame?
Yeah, of course. I think that's true. I think that like, it depends what we mean by like the word genic too. It's like,
that's true. Like, does
like,
it make people happy when they see it?
Or is it like, does it mean like pretty, or does it mean handsome, or does it mean, you know? So like, I think that like photogenic to me, the idea is like you look on camera
the way you look
in real life.
Yeah.
And then some people like you take a picture and they just don't look like they look in real life, even to the observer.
Yeah.
Not even them.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting. And it's like, I don't know if that's like they're just like reacting in a weird way, or it's just like the way that we perceive people's features is there's some like hack in it or something. But it is a compelling idea.
Would you rather be better looking in photos or in real life?
I'd rather be better looking in real life. Why do people say cheese?
Cheese, because it's supposed to make your mouth like cheese. There is one thing I used to say to my family though, because I think we all hate taking photos, and maybe it's because of like bar mitzvahs or whatever. Like the bar mitzvah photographer would always be like, one more, and like, I think something that is good that makes everyone have like a more natural smile is to say like, ha. That's what we say in my family. It's like we say like everybody ha, and like then it's like just more like
I can say cheese and not smile. It's like cheese. Or I could be like cheese. That's interesting.
No, I think ha is better because it like makes you breathe out.
That's
right?
good. I'm gonna try that one.
How many times are you like taking a photo and like you realize that you like haven't let your air out, especially like when I'm next to somebody else, I'll always be like holding in my breath and be like like
I can literally picture you passing out, just like
put your arm around my fat, and then I'm gonna
cross one arm and don't breathe.
Cross one arm, don't breathe.
I have my own like self-esteem issues, of course, and I totally understand. Like I see pictures of myself and I'm like, I don't like that. But like more and more, and especially the older I get, I'm more like, it's just a distraction and like it's almost like a waste of mental energy. And I'm just like, I just don't like, I just wanna like be myself and be happy. And like also the most attractive thing in the world is confidence and just like acceptance of yourself. Like that will like go so much further than a symmetrical face or like, you know, a picture. So I just want to be clear, like,
you hear that, insecure people? Be confident.
Just like
love
own
yourself
who you are.
anyway.
Yeah, like I just think own who you are, and just like that to me is like I'm so attracted to people that are just themselves. Like I really am. That's so much more important than like anything I see in a photo. So
have you shot any like sexually charged shoots?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like I have like all sorts of. I have a body of work that's like very like based on nude photography and like. I'm a big fan of Helmut Newton, who's like kind of brought like nudity into photography and commercial photography in like a really compelling way. And in my eyes, I'm sure other people could have problems with him, but I think that he did something really interesting with it. But I do have a body of work that I just don't share online. It's going to be more like books later in life. And like, you know, that's really cool to me. I think that like naked people in general is like the most natural. I love naked people so much. It's like the most natural, and
there's like this weird feeling about
taboo.
like taking a nude of yourself when like I just want to do that because I'm like, I want to see it in a few years, or I want to see it tomorrow, or whatever. I want it for me. But then you have this feeling because it's on a phone that you're like, is this going to get out?
Yeah.
You know, and it's only because it is taboo that we think that way.
Yeah, it is taboo, but it's also just like we're putting a lot of trust into these systems. Like, but you know, I don't think it's a big deal. Like for me, like it doesn't seem like a big deal. Like I wish it weren't so taboo, honestly. Even just the fact that like, you know, that like free the nipple has to be like a hashtag on Instagram is like absurd. Like,
or like people having issues with maternity shoots, like nude maternity
that's what I'm saying
shoots.
Is like,
I'm like, show your fucking body. I think there's no time to photograph your body better than a maternity shoot because it's such a fleeting time, and it's like, look what my body did, you know? And like,
it's beautiful. It's like the most human thing there is. Like there's nothing more human than that. And like breastfeeding and like all the other problems people are having online. Just crazy to me. It's such like a missed opportunity for us to have a shared human experience. It's like one of the most human things. Maybe that's why it's taboo. It's because it reminds us of like mortality and like our.
Well, that's what I think
fleeting everything is
like taboo about certain photographs. Like some things will get taken down and some won't. And it's always the ones that are the most human that will get taken down. Is there cellulite? Is there dimples? Is there hair indicating that this is a human? Is it not very smooth? It's not super photoshopped. Like we have an easy time with nudity when it like is fake.
Yeah, and I wonder if that's because that like airbrushed fake sexuality is more pervasive in our culture.
Yeah, and like more digestible now.
And so like it stands out more when it's not that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like I
love Twitter though, because like Twitter, like it's almost like anything goes. Like you can, there's some wild shit on Twitter. But I just wish that like even I had a pretty popular Tumblr account, and like that's where I was sharing a lot of the more like sexually charged work that I was making over the years. And like when they got bought by, I think they got bought by like Yahoo or something, or like they got bought by Verizon or something. I don't know, whatever. Tumblr's dead, but they implemented a new policy that was like very anti-sexually charged and took down like half my posts. I was like, God damn, like that sucks. It's just like mass censorship by like robots. And then like that final human filter that are like these poor people in the equivalent of a call center. And they're just like going through like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Instagram and Facebook posts like every day and flagging shit. Like that is a whole nother category of weird darkness, but that can't be healthy for people. Anyway, free the nipple.
Yeah, free the nipple. But also, even the nipples that we do see are so edited. You don't really see the bumps. You don't see the really little hairs that come out of them. You don't see any of like the human elements. They don't really make it into the final nudes.
Yeah, that's interesting too.
And thin people are often left up longer because there is something more human about rolls and fat.
Yeah,
and
I'm like,
love handles. You know, like it indicates more nudity, I think.
It's not that it's more
humanity.
I do agree with you on that point. But I'm wondering what that is. It's like because we're fed more of like the preened and like perfected image, we're almost more desensitized to it as like an alarm. And then when we encounter the opposite, like whoever's moderating these platforms is like quicker in aggregate to like flag that stuff more. And I think you're absolutely right. And it's unfair. And
definitely
it sends all the wrong signals to especially young people growing up. And
yeah, when I see a girl online and she's got stretch marks and a mustache, she looks more naked to me than the girls who don't, where it's been edited out.
Yeah.
Well, Dave Krugman, it has been so wonderful having you on this podcast. We learned so much. Can you tell everybody where they can find you and your work online?
Absolutely, yeah. So thank you so much for having me. It was a great pleasure to be here and talk to you. And I miss you and I hope to see you soon. You can find me online, probably the most active on Instagram. You can find me at dave.krugman. And then my other Instagram accounts are all linked through that. I have a bunch of different photographer personalities online. But then Twitter is Dave_Krugman. And I'd really love, and DaveKrugman.com is another one. But I'd love people to visit my editorial website, allships.co, which is where I'm really using it as a platform to just like elevate other people. And that's kind of my life goal, is to just be more of a curator and really like amplify messages from artists I love. So
that's
yeah,
awesome.
allships.co. It's like a retro futurist social club. And that's what I'm most excited about right now. And it's a whole agency and events company when we can be. And I'm very much looking forward to life after this cocoon that we're in.
Same. Are you doing any classes, giving any classes?
I'm not, but I'm about to start a Twitch.
Amazing.
I'm just going to like live stream me editing and shooting the shit.
Perfect.
And then playing video games.
So follow Dave and then follow his Twitch.
Yes.
I do have to ask this question to everybody after a sexual experience or an experience, which this has been. Dave Krugman, did you finish?
Always.
Because I'm a man. Sorry. Thank you
not
very
always.
much for coming. Oh, really? Cool. Good to know.
Not always. Wait, can I say one more thing about that?
Def.
I honestly, I'm a person that I think I enjoy other people. I kind of enjoy other people's pleasure even more than my own. I really do. That's just what gets me off personally. So
you can leave a sexual encounter without having finished and still feel very fulfilled if they did?
I can definitely feel fulfilled.
I think that is a very photographer mindset, right? Because you don't have to be the subject.
Ooh, interesting. I didn't think about the philosophy behind that, but maybe you're right.
I'm very psychological. Actually, no, when you were saying that psychology is the basis of everything, I just wanted to be like, yes, it really is. The reason that this podcast took off in the way that it did is because we are very psychologically rooted. Charlotte did minor in psychology and everything factors in how people are thinking.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm so glad you finished. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. And I can't wait to share this with the world. Thank you.
Amazing. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, this is the last time I'm popping in, but so we recorded this episode a few weeks ago. I was still in Portland, and we're talking about the nakedness and the airbrushing and why like airbrushing seems more acceptable or whatever. And then this very morning, MJ, the grandmother of the Kardashians, Kris Jenner's mom, posted this photo of Khloe. It is not airbrushed. It is not photo tuned. It's not face tuned. It's not whatever. It's undoctored. And she looks fine in it, but the Kardashian like media team has gone into like a frenzy over this photo because they're like, this can't be out there because like, I guess she like looks too dimply or whatever it is. And I don't know, listen to Sammy Sage, our guest from last week, has a podcast, Diet Starts Tomorrow. I'm sure she'll be covering this, but this is a little snippet from her Instagram story this morning, just about the topic.
Okay, the fact that photo is not acceptable to be seen by the world and that they are like frantically trying to get everyone to take it down is so damaging. I can't even imagine, first of all, in Khloe's head, like that her body can't be shown without being perfectly smoothed over. And like, if you look at that photo, like she just looks like a normal human body. But the Kardashians don't want us to think that, hey, to look like a normal human body. They want you to look like a magazine photo. But the fact that a person could see that like photo and that photo is not good enough is so damaging to so many women.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Sammy didn't tell me that I was allowed to do that, but she just put all my thoughts together so succinctly. And I thought the picture of Khloe was like really nice and normal looking and cute. And it feels bad that people have to feel airbrushed to feel okay. But yeah, we're going to talk about more how to feel okay and how to look okay with Jenni Walkowiak. You're going to love her. You guys welcome Jenni Walkowiak.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you so much for being here. You are one of my favorite portrait photographers I've ever met, known, seen your work. Huge fan.
Well, thank you.
And yeah, I just wanted to talk to you about taking pics and feeling comfortable in taking pics because I don't.
Sure.
I never know what to do.
To be honest, I don't, when I'm having my picture taken, I don't either. I'm super awkward in front of a camera. And it's funny because when I'm, well, maybe not funny, when I'm taking pictures, I'm like, it's easy, just be yourself, just relax and smile and it's fine. And then like when I get in front of a camera, I'm like, I don't know. Mostly I think it's about finding a photographer that you trust, first of all. Like if you've seen a lot of their pictures and people look good in their pictures, you just have to be like trust that they're going to take good pictures of you, because I think everybody's beautiful and that everybody has something about them that makes them special. And so when I'm taking a picture of somebody, I just want to capture that. And so the only advice I ever give is just to like trust your photographer and relax the process. And that means also like being really picky about who you hire. So like, especially with like headshots and stuff, you know, have to think like, is this, you know, the environment that I want to be in to have my headshots taken? Am I going to feel relaxed? Is it going to be really nerve wracking? And you don't always have that luxury. Like you've met me, you've met a lot of portrait photographers. So if you needed like actor headshots or something, you'd have a wealth of people to choose from who you know personally, but not everybody has that luxury.
I mean, you do, because whether it's like a professional photographer or like your friend, like, you know, which friends are going to be down to take pictures of you and like make you feel good and like hype you up.
Oh, yeah.
As opposed to the people who like kind of begrudgingly take a picture of you and then like they're not even looking at the angles or anything. They're just like, oh, well, yeah, she's in the photo.
Right. Well, and I mean, even like I have friends. I have like 2 friends who I'm like, those are my friends who take my pictures, and I have all my other friends that I don't let them take my picture, you know? So yeah, I think the really basic, easy things is to try a lot of faces, practice in the mirror, practice taking selfies. Like there's all sorts of ways to get good at having your picture taken. And most of it is just like doing it over and over again. I think pretty generic rules apply though. Just keep your chin down a little, smile a lot,
Try a lot of things. And especially like if you were working one-on-one with somebody and you're getting a lot of pictures taken, like just try everything, because you don't have to like all of them. You only have to like one or two pictures. And then the rest of them, nobody else has to see them. So like just be fearless, I guess.
Yeah. And also fearless in like, not that everybody's going to do like a professional photo shoot, but like people care about the photos that are taken of them. So whether it's like a professional or like your friend, like give yourself the license to be like, wait, can I see that?
Yeah.
Before like they quit for the day or whatever, and be like, wait, can we try other stuff? Like, and if they don't want to, then let them not do that. But if it's somebody that you're hiring, like, I don't know, sometimes I would feel like I didn't have like the audacity to be like, wait, can I check these? But it's like, you're there, you're paying for it.
No, and I personally, like when I'm shooting with somebody, I show them the whole time. I'll take like a handful of pictures and I'll be like, let's look at these. And I'll look at them with them. And if they don't seem excited, I'm like, what don't you see? What do you want to see? Let's do that.
Yeah.
You know? And if they're like, oh, I like these. And I'm like, yes, okay, let's do it. And I have different rules for when I'm working versus like when I'm out with my friends. Like if I'm on the beach with my friends and we're all taking pictures of each other with our phones and like having a good time, our rule as like a friend group is that we don't look at them at all until the end of the day or the next day or something, because otherwise we're like on the beach being like, oh, I looked fat in that picture, and now I'm like on the beach in my bikini and I like feel bad about myself. Like it just takes you out of it. So it's like
out of the moment. Yeah.
So it's like, live your experience, have your wonderful day. And then tomorrow, look at all the pictures and you can be like, oh, look how much fun we had. And then if you look good in them, then you can post them. And if you don't, then whatever, you have the memories, you know? So
have you heard of this app? It's like a disposable camera or whatever.
Oh, cute.
And it's like specifically for like living in the moments that like if you are at the beach and you don't want to see them until like 24 hours later.
That's so smart.
You do that so that like nobody can look. But then it's a different situation where it's like, oh, no, I'm taking this picture in order to use as a headshot or in order to post or whatever. Like, yeah, there's obviously going to be different rules.
Yeah. No, your photographer should absolutely be checking in and showing you what things are doing along the way, especially if they're not somebody you know very well. Like my best friend Gilbert, I take pictures of him constantly. He shows up on my Instagram, like every third picture is him. But I know like we're really comfortable with each other. We've been taking pictures together for a really long time. And so he doesn't even ask. He's just like, okay, let's go. Next look, let's do it. But if I don't know somebody and I don't know, like I know what he likes to look like and I know what he wants. So I know I'm like, you're not going to like this. And you are going to like this. Let's keep going. But with somebody I don't know, like I'm, you know, and people like to tell me all their faults that they think they have when they first
Yes.
So they're like, okay, so I'm really excited, but also like my smile's kind of droopy and it makes me uncomfortable. And also I hate my one eye on this side when I do this one thing. And I'm like, let's just do it.
See, I liked what you said though, that you were like, I know what he likes to look like, because there are so many photographers and people that like, they'll take a picture of you and you'll be like, oh my God, I hate that, because it to me, I see a little thing that I don't like or whatever, but to other people, they'll be like, no, why? And like, I've had people who are photographers or friends taking pictures that like will show you the picture and you'll be like, no, I hate that. And they'll be like, and instead of being like, okay, cool, let's try something else like you do, they'll be like, no, you look great. Like, and then it's like, wait, like this like gaslighting of being like, no, you actually like that, and you're crazy if you don't.
Right. And it's because we, especially with our friends, like we're like, we don't want you to feel badly about yourself. So it's like, no, you're beautiful, you're wonderful, you look great. And you're like, no, I'm not saying that I'm not those things. I know I'm beautiful and great. What I'm saying is I look derpy as fuck in that picture. Can I say I can?
Yeah, you can say derpy.
I'm like, oh, derpy. I can say derpy. I can say that, right?
But yeah, it's not. You're not saying I'm ugly. Like when I'm pissed at what I look like in a picture, it's not because I'm suddenly like I'm ugly now. It's like, no, I know that I have the ability to look better, and that's why we're here.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I've had photographers before like show me stuff and be like, "Are you kidding? Are you kidding? It's good." And I'm like, "Well, I don't know how you think this is going to be a successful transaction because you've just shown me all these pictures. I said I don't like them and you're going to send them to I'll never post them."
Right. You just have to, sometimes it's completely sometimes there's been instances where I've worked with somebody, taken a bunch of pictures of them. We've had a great time. I think they look good. I show them to them. They're like, yeah, these are good. And then like, they never post them and nothing ever happens. And some people aren't as comfortable saying no. Some people don't feel, regardless of how, because I think I try really hard, to make sure people feel like comfortable and at ease and like they know me. I spend like 10, 15 minutes up top, like just getting to know people and telling my story and listening to their stories so that it feels more like we're friends hanging out, so that they know that the only thing I care about is making sure that they like the pictures. That's it. I don't care if people pick, like I send hundreds of pictures and then they just pick 2 for me to edit for them. And people make choices that I disagree with all the time. They're like, these are the 2 I like. And I'm like, these are the worst ones, but okay. But it doesn't matter at the end of the day. And I had one client who there was like one picture in her bunch that I really liked. And the rest of them, I was like, meh. And I edited that one for her. She didn't pick it. And I just included it anyway. I was like, hey, I edited the ones you asked for, but I love this one. I think you look so great in it. I think everything about this picture is great. So I gave it to you as a freebie. And then she wrote back and she was like, that's fine. I really don't like that one. Can you never share it or post it ever? And I didn't get it, but I was like, okay, fine. Like it's not about me. Like I'm the photographer, but I'm taking pictures of people. I'm not taking pictures of inanimate objects or animals or buildings. Like the opinion of the subject matters more than me because it's them. Like my only job is to show you at your best and show you looking confident and pretty and sometimes that's how people feel about themselves and sometimes it's not. But I want them to feel that way always when they look at that picture. I want to be like, that's me and that's the best I've ever looked.
Yeah. And that like is my essence.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you'll see a picture and you're just like, it doesn't look like me because I don't buy it because that's not my personality. But it is really interesting. Like when you ask other people about like a bunch of pictures, everybody will have a different opinion because they like to see you in a certain way. And it is cool. Like, I don't know. One time I asked my friend because I was like, I don't think I am good at picking the best one of me because I am too critical of certain things. Like maybe somebody who doesn't immediately see that it looks like the back of my teeth are missing would like this picture, like they're not, but sometimes they look like that. And one time I let my friend pick a photo that otherwise like I would never have posted, but she was like, I like that because like the essence of you is like really friendly and stuff and nobody else is looking at that nitpicky stuff. And that did great too.
Absolutely. Well, I think it's really smart. And I tell people all the time to talk it over with people, with everybody. Show your best friend, show your agent if you have one, show your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. Show your mom because like you said, everyone's going to like different ones. And if you have time to do that and get a lot of people's opinions, then I've only done like a couple of like art shows with my photography. I used air quotes. You can't hear those. So I said it out loud.
Join up for Patreon.
Yeah. So I've done a couple art shows where I've like been like, okay, I'm going to do, and they're never with people. Though I was thinking that if I did a portrait show, like a show of portraits, I would do the window pictures that I did during lockdown. But I've done like a few like landscapey type things, or I did one that was all like pictures of Coney Island or something. But I couldn't make up my mind about things. So I like narrowed it down to like 80 pictures. It's too many pictures. And then I sent like a gallery to like my mom, my dad, like a bunch of people. And I was like, narrow it down to 10. If you had to pick 10, which 10 would you pick? And then I like, whichever one's got the most choices, I did those. I'm terrible at making decisions, but and it would be harder if it was a picture of me. So.
Yeah. Decisions are already horrible. And then ones where like your face is involved, just like suck the most. So yeah, crowdfund, do a shared folder if it's that important and do a little beta test with your friends and family. But yeah, we can get back to posing after this. But you did one of my favorite photo series ever during the pandemic. You did portraits of people outside their windows or like stoops or balconies or whatever, just like all socially distanced, and like they're so great. When did you start it? And yeah, talk us through the long walks and all that stuff.
Sure. So this time last year, everything shut down, and I embarrassingly had no idea what was going on. I wasn't paying any attention. I decided around New Year's, I was like, 2020 is my year, and I'm just going to focus on me, and I'm going to not pay attention to the news. Fuck Donald Trump. Everything sucks. It's going to suck till the election, so I'm just going to focus on me.
Brain in lockdown.
Yes. I was super committed. I had quit my day job only a couple of months before to like really do photography full time, and I was launching like a promo special to try to make a lot of money in March. And I was like really motivated. And then my boyfriend, Lucas.
You guys know Lucas. He was on an episode, Lucas Connolly. Woo, woo, woo.
Very funny, Lucas Connolly. He was on the road, and he called me one day, like in early March, being like, should I come home? And I was like, no, why? Why would you ever come home from tour? Go have fun. And he was like, I don't know. All the shows are getting canceled. And like, I don't know, like coronavirus. And I was like, coronavirus. That's bullshit. Like I thought it was going to be just like swine. Do you remember swine flu?
I do.
So I wasn't prepared for it. Everything shut down. And it was at first kind of exactly what I needed. Like I was really tired, and I had been working really hard.
Mm-hmm.
I was shooting lots of comedy shows, and I was trying to shoot a lot of headshots, and I wasn't making a lot of money. And so basically in order to make rent, I had to work a lot. And so getting like everything kind of the rug pulled out from under me was at first sort of a blessing, and I slept a lot. And then I got antsy, and I feel like most people did because we were all stuck inside.
And you were in New York, which is like even more antsy and boxy than any other place.
Right? New York was terrifying. And at the time we had a roommate who worked, well, she still does work. She's just not a roommate anymore. Works for the health department. And so she was really stressed out about feeling helpless also because like she worked in public health, and she felt like she couldn't really do anything to help anybody because she was stuck at home and there wasn't a job for her to do yet. And I was like, well, what the fuck do I do? Like, I can't help anybody. I don't have money to help anybody. I'm not a doctor. I don't know what to do. And I wished that there was a way that I could take pictures of people. Because taking pictures of people is the thing that I like doing. And the reason I like taking pictures of people is because I like making people feel good about themselves. And I like I said, when somebody looks at it and they're like, oh my God, you really captured me. Like, that's really, I see me in that picture and I like what I see. And it's really hard to do when you can't see people's faces and when you have to stay home all the time. So I have to admit that it wasn't an original idea. I saw, because lockdowns are happening all over the world before anything happened here. And I was on Reddit, and there was a picture of a beautiful Italian woman leaning out of her window. And I was like really struck by it. And I was like, that's gorgeous. And I was like, I could do that, but I didn't think anything seriously of it. And I took a walk to a friend's house of mine, and he lives, like a 30-minute walk from me. It's not very far. Gilbert, the one I told you about already, who I take pictures of all the time.
Amazing.
And when I approached his house, he leaned out his window and he was like, hello, darling. And I saw him for a second, and I was like, oh, I got to do this. I could do this. I have a long lens. And I told him, I said, you just gave me an idea. And I took a picture of him with my phone and I sent it to him. And I was like, okay, I want to do this, but I want you in like a gown. And I want the gown flung over the window ledge. And he was like, I got it. I'm on it. So I was like, how long will it take you to like throw a look together? And he was like, give me a day. So I came back the next day, and he had made a dress out of a curtain, and he made little like eyelashes out of paper that he glued to his eyelids. I mean, he looked stunning. And so he posed, and then he posed with his fiance. They weren't fianced yet, but they're fianced now. So
Mazel.
it's very adorable. And I walked away from that and I was like, that was so fun. I could do this forever. And my friend Marie, you know Marie.
Marie Foston, you guys know her too.
She lives close to them. So I texted her on the way home and I was like, hey, I think I'm going to do a thing where I take pictures of people out their windows. Can I come take pictures of you? And she was like, yeah, duh. So a couple days later, I walked to her house, same thing. She had a fire escape that was right outside her window, right on the street. And we really lucked out that day because it was like right at golden hour and the sun was just like beating her like right perfect in the face. I mean, and she's magical, beautiful woman as is, but when God is shining her best light all over that lady.
It's a good thing.
It's a good thing. So yeah, it started with just me asking some people I knew. And when I realized that it was fun and it was making me feel really good, which is selfish, but I was like, this feels good. Like because I left granted they're friends of mine, but as I walked away, I was getting text messages being like, that was so fun. Like I've been sad and I've been trapped inside and I've been wearing pajamas and like you coming over, like I had a reason to do my hair and to like look cute. And then and the shoots were really quick. Like it wasn't like what I said, when you're in my studio, like I take a couple pictures, I show you, I'm like, what do you think? With these, it wasn't like that because I didn't want to be outside for too long. I didn't want to be in one place for too long. And we couldn't interact with each other. So instead, I was just like, you just have to trust me. I'm on the street here. I'm going to just take a couple and then I'll send the best ones to you. And everybody only got like 4 pictures of themselves. But they were all cool. So then I opened it up to more people and it, I did Marie, so I had to do Sydney.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sydney lives a little further away than Marie. So that was my first like true hike. Because at the time in New York, everything was really scary. Everybody was dying. The hospitals were overwhelmed. They had bodies in ice trucks because there wasn't room in the morgues.
And like in Central Park.
Yeah. And I mean, you couldn't go half an hour without hearing an ambulance siren, at least where we are. There's like hospitals on either side of our neighborhood. So it was just like constant.
Oh my God.
And I didn't want to ride the train because at that time there were articles going around about how MTA workers were dropping like flies and just like everybody had it. So I didn't want to ride the train. I didn't want to be in a cab. At that time, it was still sort of like, I'm like, do I want to be in a car with a person? Like, even though they put saran wrap up in their car, do I want to do that? And I figured I wasn't doing anything else. And at least as far as, it sounds really clinical when I say it like this, but like, as far as like calorie expenditure, like, we burn a lot of calories living our lives, right? Just like going to the store or like hanging out with friends or doing stuff. But when you stop doing all activity and just the only activity you get is walking from like your bed to the kitchen and then like sometimes to the bathroom, like I figured it wasn't going to kill me to walk around a little bit. And it was spring, so it was like beautiful outside. So I walked first to Sydney's house. She was kind of far away. She was like 5 miles from me. And once I did that, it was like there and back and I was fine. I was like, okay, I'm going to get better shoes and I'm just going to keep doing this. So my first stimulus check, I bought some nice walking shoes.
Amazing.
And I just asked online. I asked on Facebook and Instagram and I was like, if you want to be in this project and you live within what I believe is a reasonable walking distance from me. And I had a couple people who were like, I live in Ridgewood. There's no way you're coming here. And I was like, I don't know. I could do that. It's only 6 miles one way. I could walk to Ridgewood. That was the farthest I went for the project.
Ridgewood, Queens, not Ridgewood, New Jersey.
Yes. That was the furthest I walked for this project, though I did, after I retired the project, I did continue with I call them urban hiking, because they were really long. So I've officially
those were some more air quotes you guys missed if you're not on Patreon.
Yes.
Urban hiking in quotes.
Urban hiking in air quotes. Yeah, but I have since walked to Harlem from here. So that was a fun walk. It took all day.
That's a long walk. What I loved about, it's obviously a gorgeous project. All of the photos are like amazing, but it was
one of the first projects that I've seen that was truly COVID safe. You know what I mean? Like people were doing the, socially distanced, of course, thing where like you photograph somebody with a mask on or whatever, but like you knew that at the end of that shoot, like they were hanging out and like hugging or whatever. And this was like, I was just like, no, Jenni's walking around the city, snapping a few folks of people from like 15 feet away to like 30 feet away, like depending on like how high their window is.
Yeah.
And like still adapting to our new situation, but still getting that serotonin boost from the interaction. Like it reminds me when you were saying like walking away, like you were getting all those messages or whatever and feeling like kind of normal again, like reminds me of like when I was doing the comedy club and like it was of course different than like live shows,
right?
But like people would text after and be like, oh my God, I feel like I just like saw you again and that like whatever. And it was like not trying to like be like, we have to go back to normal or whatever, but like making the new normal feel more normal again, but still being safe about stuff and being respectful, which I just love that like you had no idea what COVID was and then you adapted so quickly.
Well, thank you. Everything you're saying is really nice and making me feel really good and special. And I just want you to know that.
That's why you're here. Like people were dying in New York and I had FOMO because of your photo series.
I mean, I wanted you to be here so I could take pictures of you for it. There were some people that I reached out to that I know that I was like, I know you live in Brooklyn and I know you're cute. So I want to take pictures of you for my project. Not like you have to be cute to be cute, but I just liked,
cute soul.
I liked making people feel good. And it made me feel like I was doing something good. Like I was spreading joy and I was making people happy even when it was a really challenging time to feel happy. And when people didn't want to give themselves a break, we all felt guilty for feeling joy. And so I wanted to just, I don't know, let it happen. I just want to make people smile. I wanted to give people a reason to curl their hair if they wanted to,
And I'm fucking bored.
And I'm bored.
And everything has changed and we haven't seen our friends. And like, this wasn't even just like, oh, you get to see your friend. It was literally like giving somebody a reason to get dressed up, even if it was just to go to the window for 10 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. And I met a lot of people too. It was like, it started out as just as people I knew. And then it turned into like a ton of people I didn't know who I'd never met. And some of it was really challenging. Like I had a couple people who were on their roofs and their buildings were like 4 stories high. And I was like, how the fuck do I do this? I used this one lens, which I'm going to, camera gearheads won't be satisfied by this because I don't even know. I'd have to look at it. I'd have to look at the lens to tell you like the focal length of it, but it's like huge. It's like the size of like a Subway foot-long sandwich. I guess it's a foot long.
It's a foot long.
And it doesn't zoom. It's like a telephoto lens for like taking pictures like up close of like birds. But I just used it to take pictures of people in their windows.
Cool. I don't know what to leave people with besides obviously pose with somebody that you're comfortable with.
Yeah.
Posing techniques.
I feel like there's common things that people do wrong. I think it's easier to say like things to watch out for than it is to like heart, because everybody's different, right? And we all know this, right? But like my chin looks different than your chin, and it's gonna look different than Lucas's chin. It's like everybody's different, so you can't. There's not really much.
My chin and Lucas's chin are the same chin.
I mean, they're pretty much the same chin, but, you know. Yeah. But like universally, everybody looks better with good posture. So sit up straight, tits out, shoulders back, and then a common problem that a lot of people have is they think that they need to lift their chins up for pictures because especially like if you have a little bit of an extra chin, like I have, just like a second, like a backup chin. They think that if you tilt down that you see more chin. And that's just not, so they think if you lift up, it feels like you're pulling it tighter. And so therefore you feel like your chin is less noticeable, but what you're actually doing is showing the camera your neck. So
you're just really making it one big
thumb with a face on it. Yeah. So a better thing, I call it the turtle. Some other photographers call it a turtle also, but really it's that the idea is to stick your face out and tilt your chin down a little bit. And then that gives you a little pointy chin. And it looks silly from the side, but it looks good from the front. And
We look stunning right now.
Stunning.
Sign up for Patreon.
And then the other thing is, if you want to, so that's if you're looking straight at the camera. Straight at the camera is stick your face out like a turtle, chin down just a little bit. And then if you're doing like a 3/4, instead of sticking your face out like a turtle, you kind of, the ear that's facing the camera, this is hard to explain with audio only. The ear towards the camera, kind of like act like you're trying to hear better, like, huh? You kind of like stick your chin up, or your not your chin, your ear up towards, right? So it's kind of like a, huh? What are you saying? And then you have a prettier jawline too. So out, up, huh? That's it.
Obsessed.
Those are yeah, you look great. And also, like I said, honestly, genuinely practice taking selfies with it. The angle the angle that your phone is at, it matters. You know, the most flattering angle would be like directly so that the camera lens is at your eye line. So if you're looking at where the camera is with your eye and it's straight in front of you, and then tilt the actual, I don't even have my phone. Okay, I'll show you this AA book. Tilt it like a little bit at an angle. So at your eye line, tilt a little bit. That's the sexiest selfie angle. People are always like, your selfies are so beautiful. And I'm like, thank you. It's the angle.
Also, if you're talking body poses, there is one advice that I got. My friend's grandmother used to say, if it bends, bend it.
Yes.
Which, like, obviously you can't bend everything at once, but maybe like, yeah, like bend something and tilt.
I agree. I think angles are always more interesting. And if you keep everything really straight, it just kind of looks like a passport photo. So I always, like, even if it's a headshot and you're only doing like it being shot from tits up, like pop a hip, you know, put a hand on the hip, be a little sassy with it, you know, like try different angles of your shoulders.
The hand could bend.
Yes. Bend something. I love that advice, honestly. And then the other thing is just, I think as long as a basic understanding that if something is closer to the camera, it looks bigger. And if it's further away, it looks smaller. So if you
put your sneakers close to the camera so your body looks tiny.
Right. Well, I mean, that could be really fun. If you put your shoe close to the camera, the shoe can look really big and then you look small. It's like kind of a cool, like
Steve Madden girl
kind of thing. Exactly. But also if you like bend forward, it makes your head look huge. Look small, you know what I mean? Or if you want your butt to look bigger, then you can stick your butt towards the, you know, it's like whatever you want to look bigger, stick towards the camera.
Also, the way that like we copy outfits or whatever from magazines, like if you see somebody with your similar body type or whatever and they pose well, like take those poses.
Oh, 1,000%. And I say that to people who are like, I don't really know what I'm looking for. And I'm like, just find pictures. If you see a picture and you're like, I like that picture, just save
or
it.
Even if it's like your vibe. I say body type because sometimes I'm like, there are things like that I want to hide. So I'm always looking for girls with bigger arms just to see like how they hide them or whatever. I've chosen sleeves. This is my new thing. I just wear sleeves. I never show my arms anymore.
It's so funny because if somebody were asked me to describe you, I would say like everything about Remy is tiny. Arms included. So
because no one's seen them.
Oh, you just hide them all. Yeah, I think keep an eye out for pictures of people, and not even just, especially if you're going to get headshots, if you're going to get, not just headshots, if you're going to get your pictures taken by anybody, it's like when you go to the, you know, like you bring a picture to the hairdresser and you're like, I want this haircut. Do that to a photographer. It's not insulting, you know, like I think a lot of people are like, they don't want to assume, you know, like they're trying to tell you how to do your job or something. Like, no, I want to know exactly what you want. And so and if I can't do a certain part of it, I'll tell you, you know, like if it like is edited a way that I don't like, I'll be like, I don't really like the editing on this picture, but I can get you the vibe, you know?
Yeah. I Needed Jenni. Like that's when I saw that series, I was like, fuck, I need to get on a plane.
No, I mean, but you know, you have an open invitation here. Just next time you're in New York, just come over here and bring all your clothes and we'll just hang out and take pictures and they're going to be great.
Yes. Will there be cats?
No, we're allergic to cats, but there's a dog.
I do find an animal around a photo shoot very soothing. If you are feeling weird for a second, you could just be like, I just want to pet this little cute. Look at him. You're so cute.
He's so cute. I wish you could hear how cute he was.
I want to kiss him on the mouth.
I do all the time. Lucas doesn't like him when he kisses, but I do. So.
Well, whose was he first? Did you get him together?
Yeah, we got him in January. He's a pandemic pup.
Oh, cute.
I know. We were trying since like June, and it was really hard because it's a really tough market right now. A lot of people want dogs. But we finally found this little angel. Really, he found us. Somebody from the rescue he's from texted me and they were like, hey, we saw your application and we think that you would really like Frank. And then they sent us this picture and we were like, we do like Frank.
Frank! Robin's dog is Frank.
Yeah? Yay!
Yeah. And my cat is Grace, and together they're Gracie and Frankie.
How cute!
Yeah.
But he was Frank. He was Frank at the rescue, and then we decided that we were going to formalize it, so it's technically Franklin. But we never call him that. We always call him Frank or Frankie.
I used to have a bunny named Franklin that we called Frank.
I love that. I want a bunny, but Lucas said we can't have bunnies. Well, now that I have a dog, I guess I don't want a bunny anymore.
Yeah, no. Although they do get a lot. Like, we've had bunnies, cats, and dogs at the same time in my house for years, and they're quite
well,
cute.
I mean, the dream is just to have, I would love to have all sorts of animals.
Yeah, the dream is a farm. The dream is Michael Jackson's life without the pedophilia.
Yes. My dream is I want to be bi-coastal, and I want a yard in LA, and then in New York I want like a roof with like a garden.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I want a roof and a garden and also an office in my house in New York, and then a ranch with just so many animals in LA.
You're right. It's a ranch. I want a ranch.
Yeah.
Right.
Ugh, I love talking about the dream.
The dream. I know. I'm radically off course here. So I hope that I said anything helpful about posing.
You said lots of helpful things about posing. And also, I have not asked about your first time coming story. Do you want to tell us?
I don't genuinely recall. It was probably, I feel like there was like a point in my preteenness where I was masturbating and nothing was happening. And then one day I read about the clit and then I found it. And then I was like, oh, okay. And then I just have never had trouble coming ever since. So I'm just one of those lucky bitches who has a really easygoing vagina. So things just things just happen really naturally and really easily for me. And I, so it was never really a problem. It was just like once I like figured out.
You did all the good steps, like, because when we think of an easy vagina, I think of penis vagina, she comes, and that is not an easy vagina. Like, that is like a very rare vagina.
It is rare.
What you did is like you explore, things don't work, you read a little more, you find out about the button, you push the button, things work.
Yeah. And then it was like once it worked, it never broke again unless I didn't like the person. So then it was like, something's happening in my brain and not my body. So
Jenni, thank you so much for coming on and talking to us about all these helpful things. Where can everybody find you and your work on the internet?
Sure. So my website is jenniwalkowiak.com. JenniWalkowiak. And my Instagram handle is IamJW Photography. A lot easier than typing out my whole last name. And that's it. That's where you can see it.
Amazing. I have to ask you this question. I have to ask everybody this question after a sexual experience, which this has been. Jenni Walkowiak, did you finish?
Yes.
Amazing. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. What a blast. And you guys, we will see you next time on How Come. Goodbye.
Bye.
It's not you, it's me. I try so hard to finish honestly. They say you'll know when you go all the way from A right down to O. Oh no, I think that I still got a ways to go. Oh, I'm sick of this and I have got to know. How come? How come? How come I can't achieve? How come I can't achieve? I'm rolling up my sleeves. I'm rolling up my sleeves. Oh baby, I believe these guests can help. 'Cause I can't do it by myself. I wanna jizz